Dodgers legend Clayton Kershaw just got a chilling Hall of Fame message straight from Pedro Martinez right at the All-Star Game. Pedro stepped up to the mic and didn't just offer praise, he delivered an emphatic proclamation. Kershaw belongs with the immortals. No filler, no fluff, just raw respect from one of baseball's fiercest competitors. This moment isn't just about accolades, it's validation from a future Hall of Famer who's seen it all. Kershaw's legacy is already cemented, but hearing those words live, under the brightest lights, adds a whole new layer. For Dodgers fans and baseball lovers everywhere, this is a moment you'll want to witness. Will Kershaw's Hall of Fame plaque be the crown on an already legendary career? What we just witnessed at the All-Star Game wasn't just a moment, it was a message from one legend to another. A message that carried weight, history, and pure baseball respect. And that message? It came from none other than Hall of Famer Pedro Martinez, aimed straight at Los Angeles Dodgers icon Clayton Kershaw. This wasn't a casual handshake. This wasn't a quick nod during batting practice. This was a powerful tribute, a Hall of Fame acknowledgement that every baseball fan needs to hear about. Clayton Kershaw, now 36 years old and currently rehabbing from injury, was at the 2025 MLB All-Star Game in Arlington, Texas. While he wasn't there to pitch, his presence alone was monumental. When Kershaw walks onto a field, even in street clothes, the atmosphere shifts. Fans lean in. Players take notice. And on this night, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, Pedro Martinez, decided it was time to let the world know exactly what he thinks of the Dodgers ace. With a microphone in his hand and the national stage lit up, Pedro turned to Kershaw, looked him in the eye, and dropped a line that has fans buzzing across the league. "You, my friend," Pedro said, with that signature grin and unmistakable Dominican flair, "are going to Cooperstown." The crowd erupted. Teammates applauded. And Kershaw? He smiled in that humble, slightly shy way he always does. He's never been one to chase headlines. He doesn't demand attention. But this moment, this message was impossible to ignore. Pedro Martinez, a Hall of Famer, a World Series champion, and one of the most dominant pitchers in MLB history, had just publicly stamped Clayton Kershaw's ticket to the Hall of Fame. But this moment didn't come out of nowhere. Kershaw's journey to this kind of recognition has been long, hard-fought, and at times, controversial. Early in his career, he was dubbed the next Sandy Koufax, a comparison that brought with it impossible expectations. But even with those lofty comparisons, Kershaw delivered. 3 Cy Young Awards, an MVP, over 200 career wins, more than 2,900 strikeouts, a career ERA that has hovered near 2.50 for over a decade, and most importantly, he finally got that elusive World Series ring in 2020. Still, critics for years focused on one thing: his postseason struggles. Time and time again, Kershaw was blamed when the Dodgers fell short. But what Pedro did on that all-star stage was rewrite the narrative. He reminded us that greatness isn't defined by one month of the year. It's built across seasons, careers, decades. And Kershaw has built one of the most impressive pitching arsenals in the history of baseball. Pedro's words were especially powerful because they came from a place of empathy and experience. Martinez knows what it means to carry a franchise. He knows what it means to dominate, to endure injuries, to fight expectations. He also knows what it takes to be enshrined in Cooperstown. So when he looked Kershaw in the eye and said, "You're one of us," that wasn't just flattery. That was a passing of the torch. Kershaw, ever the class act, responded the way you'd expect. He didn't puff his chest or talk about his numbers. Instead, he quietly thanked Pedro and later told reporters how much the moment meant to him. "Coming from a guy like Pedro," he said, "that's something I'll never forget." And honestly, how could he? Think about it. Here's a guy who debuted back in 2008, barely 20 years old, drafted straight out of high school, thrown into the fire, and told to carry one of baseball's most storied franchises. Year after year, he did it. He gave everything he had to the Dodgers organization. He didn't run when the team lost. He didn't leave for a big payday. He stayed. He worked. He led. And even now, while rehabbing from another shoulder issue, Kershaw remains a presence in the clubhouse, mentoring young arms, sharing insight, and preparing for one more run. And let's talk about that rehab, because it adds even more emotional depth to this All-Star Game moment. Kershaw hasn't pitched yet this season. He's been on the injured list since the start of the year, recovering from shoulder surgery. Many wondered if we'd ever see him on a mound again. But sources around the Dodgers believe he's eyeing a late-season return, possibly September, just in time for a postseason push. If that happens, and if Kershaw takes the mound again, it might be one of the most poetic moments in recent baseball history. Now, zooming out a bit, let's reflect on the sheer rarity of a moment like this. The All-Star Game isn't typically the place where legacies are cemented. It's a celebration, a showcase, a mid-season breather. But this year it turned into something more. It became a ceremony. An informal coronation. Pedro's words weren't scripted. They weren't planned PR. They were real. They were emotional. And that's why fans can't stop talking about it. Twitter lit up the moment it happened. Dodgers fans flooded the comments with messages of love and admiration. Even rival fanbases admitted it was a classy move. Broadcasters replayed the clip throughout the night. Baseball legends from other eras chimed in, agreeing with Pedro's take. And yes, Cooperstown's official social media account even posted a subtle emoji with a picture of Kershaw smiling on the field. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe the Hall of Fame just got a gentle nudge from one of its own. Let's not forget the context either. The Dodgers have built their 2025 season around pitching depth, youth, and experience. But without Kershaw, something has felt missing. Sure, the team's still winning. They've got Shohei Ohtani lighting up the box scores. Mookie Betts continues to lead with authority. And the rotation has looked solid overall. But there's a different kind of energy when Kershaw's around. A different kind of calm. He's more than a player. He's a symbol. A reminder of everything the franchise stands for. And seeing him back on the national stage, even if just in the dugout, reminded fans just how big his shadow really is. One MLB insider even went as far as to say, Kershaw not being active at the All-Star Game, but still being one of the most talked about people there, tells you everything you need to know about his legacy. And it's true. His presence alone electrifies the field. His name carries weight. And now, thanks to Pedro Martinez, the world has been reminded that we're not just witnessing the end of a great career, we're witnessing the final chapters of a legend who will be enshrined in Cooperstown. So what comes next? Well, if all goes well, Kershaw could be back on the mound for the Dodgers in September. He's been throwing bullpen sessions and reportedly progressing without setbacks. The plan is to get him into a couple of minor league rehab starts before activating him for the stretch run. Could you imagine a playoff rotation that includes a healthy Kershaw alongside Ohtani? That's a dream scenario for Dodgers fans and a nightmare for opposing lineups.